Okay, well, I've got the floor up, just a couple little pieces left to go. I'll tell you what, this bamboo's a pain in the neck. I mean, it comes up in pieces. And, you know, it took 3 times longer than it probably should have. I guess I've spent maybe about 5 hours ripping the floor up. I'm going to spend a couple more hours at least scraping. I did some scraping over there to just get the glue up as best we can. That's going to take a little bit of time, and but we're moving along.
One look in your eyes and I find it. When you leave in my mind I rewind it. When you got it this good, you don't fight it.
And there's still no water under here, so.
And it's rained.
Yeah, it's rained a lot. You know, it's rained several days. We squirted water all over the place. I did find a little bit of water, not much at all, but on the other side. But it could have just been seepage. You know, I didn't check that for a week, so we'll see. We're keeping the sides open to see if we see anything happening, and we're going to go home to Pennsylvania for Thanksgiving for about a week or so, and then we're going to come back. So I'm going to let it all dry out and see if any more water comes in before we proceed. But we did get the wood, and we picked up Tigerwood. And that's what we use in our kitchen at home. We've used it on other projects, so we really love the wood. It really looks cool. It's nice and exotic. And we've seen it on another boat, and it just looks fabulous in the boat. In fact, we installed it in our hallway below deck. You may have seen it in a previous video. It's not easy to find. I don't know why. It looks great, but it's very difficult to find. We did find it at LL Lumber. They had 3 1/4 inch, which is what we wanted, the thinner strips. It looks better on a boat. And so that was the only place we could find it. We had to drive a while to go get it. But so after we get this all cleaned up, I'll throw a couple sheets out to give you a little preview of what you're going to see in a future video. Until then.
Roger out.
So we lost one of the blowers died in our engine room, and I went to replace it. Believe it or not, $500 for this blower. Mostly because it's 32 volt. They make 12 volt and 24 volts for 180, which I still think is kind of ridiculous. But anyway, the motor was fine. I tested out the motor, and all that went wrong really was the squirrel cage disintegrated. So I found a very similar in size squirrel cage on Amazon someplace for I think a whopping $12, or I don't even know what it was. And I'm going to replace the squirrel cage, and hopefully that works. Now, the shaft hole on the squirrel cage was not identical to the old one. It's just a little bit bigger, so I'm just giving it a few wraps of electrical tape to make it a little bit thicker so that it, you know, I want to make sure it stays centered. So hopefully that'll do the trick. We'll find out. Nothing to lose, but whatever this cost, and save $500 if it works.
So, Little Miss Parrot likes to chew the chairs. So I'm finally getting around to fixing them. And they're coming out pretty good. It's pretty easy. We got some really nice fabric around the corner here, and I'm just taking them apart and stapling these suckers on, and it's working out pretty good. It's looking a lot better. This is fabric, it's not leather, so she shouldn't chew it. But they look nice, I think. At least a hell of a lot nicer than this. Bada bing, bada boom. Doesn't that look great? A hell of a lot better.
So, it was about 10 days in when we had the floor ripped up looking for that mysterious leak that is on our aft deck. And we had sprayed all over the place. We were trying everything we possibly could to recreate the leak, and we couldn't recreate it. It was completely dry over there. It was completely dry on the starboard side. And then it started raining here. And it rained for about 4 days, and all of a sudden we noticed a little bit of water, maybe a couple cups at most, over on the starboard side again. And even though we tried to recreate it, we couldn't figure it out. And then we did. We found a crack right along the side of the door that leads off our aft deck here. Now there's kind of like a door stop, and I guess maybe over time the door being shut might have just kind of cracked the seam where I guess there was caulking. So we took a hose and I squirted it all over the place there, and sure enough we were getting water in the back. So we finally found it. And I guess the reason it was intermittent is because it's technically under a ledge back there. So it can't just be a regular rain. The door doesn't really get wet, but if it's kind of a sideways rain or the wind's blowing in the right direction, enough water gets on that door, runs down the side, gets into the aft deck, and then if the waves are just right, can make it drip right onto my dresser. So the mystery solved. I'm going to fix that seam with probably some 4200, caulk around it and get some paint on it, and it'll be good as new, and hopefully that's the end of this leak. Now this was a quick repair I did. I changed the piston on this door, which had failed. So the door was always slamming shut, it wouldn't stay open. And when I first did it, I made a mistake. I ordered the wrong piston. They come in weight sizes. You know, obviously there's a length to it as well that you have to order. I accidentally ordered the ones for 100-pound door. So it was just too much. So anyway, I had to reorder it, and I got these new pistons. These are rated a pair for a 35-pound door, and we don't use a pair on here, it's just one, so you figure it's rated for about 17 pounds, and it works perfectly. Just pull it right down and it just opens up nice and smoothly. And I think this was, you got a pair of them for $27, so I have a spare one on board now, Amazon. So today's project is repairing one of our antennas. Now, some time ago, we lost the top. We have 3 antennas on this boat. One for the upper helm radio, one for the lower helm radio, and I have no idea what the third one's for. I think it might be for our shortwave radio, no idea. But anyway, one of them broke in a windstorm, just the top piece broke. And as it should happen, our neighbor, Scott, who's got a Hatteras as well, about 2 weeks ago, he lost one of his antennas in a windstorm, but the bottom part broke. So he went out and bought a new antenna. I bought the top part from him because he didn't need it, and then he used the bottom part on his boat, so it all worked out great for us. So I have this is the new top. Woo. Let me pull this out here. This is the new top. It's a Shakespeare antenna, just like my originals. A little bit different now. They build, the original antenna just actually had the wire running up through this in a hollow channel. Now they build and it had this, I don't know what it even is, piece of copper in the center section here. They don't do that anymore as far as I know. They just run the wire, it's just a hollow tube through the long bottom part, and then connects up to this new top part. So I spent a little bit of time getting a bunch of foam that was kind of jammed up inside the lower end here. Finally got it out, have the wire run, and I'm going to install this new top on it, and then I'm going to put it back on the side of the boat. And I'm doing this on our primary radio, which is our upper helm radio, the one that I use almost all the time. I figure I might as well use the new antenna, maybe get a little better signal for that radio. So I kind of moved things around a little bit. And while I was at it, I figured I might as well replace all the cable too. So I did that. I got a new cable, new ends, and I'm gonna just screw it right on like that. This will go like that. Okay.
What's that?
That just holds it to the boat. A little bit of an adhesive, maybe some 4200 or something right here, just to make sure that
doesn't fall off.
Put it on.
Okay.
Okay, well, unfortunately I have to make a splice on this antenna cable. Otherwise I would have had to drill a big hole in the side of the boat, and I didn't feel like doing that. I wanted to use the existing tiny little hole. And I'm using one of these splice connectors here. I've never used one of these before. I'm a little bit skeptical. It's made by Shakespeare, and it's made for this R258 cable. And well, we'll give it a shot and see how it goes. First you put this over the wire, followed by an O-ring. on there. There we go. And this little plastic end piece. And then this goes in there. You push it all the way in until it bottoms out, apparently. Guess that's good. Okay, well, that's on. Now just do the other side. I'm still a little bit skeptical, but I guess it looks good. We'll see. Apparently you squeeze these little things in so they pierce it and touch the outer wire on the coax. And then the inner wire is just making contact with a little nub in there. So apparently that's how it works. And that just goes on. And then you just tighten it. Hey, that's it. Hopefully it works. We'll get some zip ties and tie that up. We'll be good to go. Radio check, radio check.
5 on 5. Copy, clear at the Nassau Railroad Bridge.
Thank you very much. Okay, so the radio check yielded 2 responses from 2 different bridges. One was the Nassau Railroad Bridge, which is maybe about 2 miles from here. And then also we got it from the bridge that cut through, I think it's called Hullover. They're about 6 miles from here. So it looks like we have success. Well, we finished ripping up all of the bamboo and did most of the scraping on the floor. A little bit more to go before we're ready to put the floor down. But we were really curious as to what it would look like. So we grabbed a bunch of pieces and just put them down, and we're thrilled. That's exactly what we wanted. And it feels comfortable on the feet, and man, even without having the scraping or the padding done, it actually feels really solid as well. So we were very happy. We're not going to finish this though right away. We're going to go home for the holidays for Thanksgiving. Then we're going to come back, and then we're going to get to this and have this wrapped up in December. But we couldn't be happier. It's hard to find like 2 people on the planet anymore that agree on anything. But I think we all can agree that Lynn is a great cook. Oh, cheers. Cheers.
Cheers!
Cheers down, everybody.
So I'm going to do a short toast, a quick toast, and I think it's an Irish toast. But then again, I think every toast ever given by mankind is by an Irishman, right?
Probably.
And I'm an Irishman, so I can say this. So, may the roof never fall in, and may the people below it never fall out.
Aww.
Cheers.
Cheers!
Tell the story of the Beaujolais Nouveau. Bert doesn't know it.
It's just, if we were really, really rich, I would have sent my jet over to France like about 3 or 4 days ago, because it gets released in the beginning of, or the middle of November, and as soon as it's released, you're supposed to drink it fresh. Most wine should be drink aged, but you drink this as fresh as you can get it. But since we are peasants here, we wait for it to come over the ships, and we drink it 2 weeks later, which just so happens to be Thanksgiving every year. So every year I buy a couple bottles of this Beaujolais Nouveau, and that's what we have every Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Well, we are on our way back to Florida. We just spent Thanksgiving up in Pennsylvania, where we had a fantastic time. Lynn cooked a wonderful dinner, and my mother came up from Florida to visit, and so did my son and his girlfriend. So we had a big family gathering, and well, we had a great time. But we got to get back to the boat. We got some chores to do. We're about halfway there now, and we'll be there. Well, it's getting dark out, as you can probably tell. But we should be there by about midnight, and hopefully we get rolling tomorrow on putting in that new floor and, well, a whole bunch of other little things too. Now that Thanksgiving's over, we are back on the boat and ready to get back to work. So the main project we have for this trip down is this floor. And if you recall from previous weeks, we had a water leak that we couldn't find, and then we eventually found it. And we're happy to say that even after being gone for about 3 weeks and having it rain here several times, there is not a drop of water on the floor. We checked both sides. Perfectly dry. I even put out some paper towels to see if there would be any water stains. Nope. So I think we finally have the leak settled, and we're going to get busy putting this floor back together. So what I'm doing right now is I'm putting down an underlayment. It's going to act as a vapor barrier. I'm not really all that concerned about the vapor barrier. We're on a boat and it's going to get wet, but it's also going to give some soundproofing for when people are walking up here and maybe somebody's down in the master cabin. So this should help to keep the floor a little bit quieter. And also there's little imperfections from us scraping up all the glue, and I use an 1/8 inch thick underlayment, and that should help maybe with any little imperfections, smooth them out a little bit. So we're using, I think it's called Quiet Walk. Yes, Quiet Walk. Okay, time to start installing.
So, Ed,
Yes.
how much easier is it laying wood on a boat than on in a land house?
It's not easier. Every single wall has an angle to it. And I don't even think we're really completely balanced, because we did center lines going from each wall and then drawing a center line, but when we put a piece of wood on the center line, it does not look right at all. It's almost as if the shape of the boat, this addition in the boat, is not exactly the same on each side. So what we're doing is we're just doing it, eyeballing it. What looks like a straight line, we put a piece of wood down, and then we're going to measure from that and get our starting piece. And that's about the only thing we can think to do, because if we go off the center line, it just does not look right to us.
Weird.
Yeah, so but when we do it this way, it looks nice. So that's what we're going to do. And there's just going to be a lot of oddball cuts.
Right. And not only are the walls, of course, not straight, they're curved,
Yeah.
but so is this sucker.
Yeah.
Bar.
I was kind of hoping to use that as the guide to keep everything squared up, but it's not squared.
This wall right here is actually like angled in.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yeah.
crazy. And this is also angled, but you think it would be square, but it's not.
Nope.
Right, Captain?
That's right. So whatever, we're going to do it so that we're pleased with it, not whether it's don't bring out a square and tell me my floor is not square, because I know it won't be. But it's going to look square though. Okay, well, we're almost halfway there. I think we've got maybe about 5 hours in so far. Put in about 3.5, 4 yesterday, and then we're about an hour and a half into today, maybe. It's looking great. It really is. It's looking better than I expected.
Yes. This is how much wood we have left. Not bad. I cannot wait to do this lower helm floor and the galley floor. But that will have to wait till next year. Now for the big reveal. Ready? Ta-da! There it is. The floor. Isn't it gorgeous? Look how beautiful. Such an interesting wood. I just love it. It came out lovely. I'm so happy. I can't wait to do the rest of the boat. But yeah, this is the floor. Oh, and the new chairs. Look how the cushions are so much better. I don't think Cleo's going to eat these ones. I hope not.